2010. I was miserable with my life, but the internet was pretty fast in that time, so I watched a lot of Gundam. And at this time, I believe Gundam Unicorn aired. Yep, Google says it. March 12, 2010. This was back when the internet was like more free and you could watch whatever you want without any ramifications, repercussions, needing a VPN, or your ISP being gay about it and copyrights. So every time Gundam came on, I was capable of seeing each episode as soon as it launched, within like a day. Thank God for the subbing community of anime. Well anyway, in this first episode of Gundam, you see the Kshatriya fighting the Stark Jegan. This has to be one of the most hype moments in Gundam history, really. And one of the best moments highlighting just how good an ace pilot was. But still not good enough to take on a cyber new type of basically Peru 2. But it was one of those just fantastic fights. Everything about this just screamed Gundam. It was so epic and larger than life. It just had such energy. It was so visceral. This is the stuff I loved. It was a clear reason why I no longer really cared for Gundam Wing and alternate timelines. UC was where it was at. Well anyway, the Stark Jegan puts up a pretty good fight and then he totally gets whiffed. He completely zooms in to get close to the Kshatriya for close combat to avoid the fin funnels. Obviously this pilot had experience during the Grips War. This guy was no slouch. He was just unfortunate. The Kshatriya was a far superior prototype mobile suit. But in that fight, it was solidified. Most Gundam fans thought the Stark Jegan was badass, and this unnamed pilot became one of the greatest heroes in Gundam lore ever. Before this fight, when you usually saw an Earth Federation grunt suit, they were getting absolutely wrecked. I mean, Char's counterattack, getting wrecked. Gundam F91, getting wrecked. This is the first time a Jegan seemed truly badass. Unfortunately, Bandai being Bandai, it literally took them 13 years to give us a Stark Jegan. The Jegan Type D existed for a good while. Why did this take so long? God only knows. But you probably got 15,000 freedoms since then. After Bandai launched this model kit, it was obvious I had to have it. It was one of my favorites. There was one other alternative to get a Stark Jegan, and that was the Side 3 resin kit, which originally I was going to build until this came out. So I figured, let's build this, more people probably paid attention. Oh, good old Fluffy. I forgot to mention that the Stark Jegan is a P Bandai model kit, because of course it would be. God forbid this makes it to retail and you can get it easy. Oh well. G Rework has launched the Stark Jegan Master Grade decals. I don't know why I said stickers, I'm kind of tired and out of it. So anyway, you can get those off of New Type HQ of Geeks. The runners are your standard fare. It's pretty much a Jegan Type D kit with some extra add-ons, and that's about it. Typical for P Bandai kits, it's something you've already bought before with a little extra razzmatazz, whether it's a recolor or a few extra pieces of armor. I will say that it was cool that Bandai took the time to actually add better stickers for the weapons. So it's got those little metallic stickers for the guns and whatnot. I was testing out these new nippers I got from Hobby Link Japan. They're the disposable blade kind. Thankfully, I got a set of the nippers, but they did not send me my blades, so yeah, oh well. Now we're moving on to the painting of this kit. I have a litany of greens to try and get the correct color for the Stark Jegan. Technically, this is a custom kit for myself. I know, it's the original color, and you'd probably go, why are you still doing a custom kit for yourself? It's the original color. Well, here's the thing. I look at myself realistic. In the sense of, I guess being a YouTuber that has some people that pay me attention, I've excelled past an average person. So that would just make me like an ace pilot, but not like Char Aznable or Amuro Ray Ace where you get a custom colored suit. Like a guy who's good enough to hold his own and then he gets completely cut in half by a Cassandra kind of guy. So that's what I was shooting for. I went for standard colors, but with a few accents. Well, point being, I'm kind of keeping it at the original colors, but slightly weathered, like it's a used mobile suit. I also based this on the fact that my own car and motorcycle, although old, are still in pristine condition, but there's some things you just can't get around. Like there's some grime and areas you just can't seem to get off, and it would need special cleaning, like with a sandblaster or some crap. So I figured, okay, if I was a good pilot, my suit would be in good shape, but it would still be kind of dirty. But not too dirty. Like most people go, hey, this thing looks good. I don't believe in rusting out a mobile suit to the point of complete ridiculousness. Like everybody builds their custom suits, just rust them to the point where it looks like the Zaku lived in upstate New York and experienced all the seasons in its rust to all hell. Like they're in space. It doesn't make that kind of sense. Oh well, it's Gunpla and that's freedom. Unless you do something people don't like, then it's not, and you're an idiot. That's how the community works. Well, anyway, we're mixing the green right here, and you know, this is actually a lovely shade of green. It's mint green, isn't it? I've always liked this color, so I'm not really upset with recreating it. This is the segment where I decide to have potato porridge from 7-Eleven, premium Japan. I wonder how they say it in Japanese. Actually, this is called potato portage. I'm looking closer now because I'm a jackass. What is this in Japanese again? Jegan no mo potage. Tabimashita. You might be wondering why in God's green earth would I add me mixing potato portage. Jesus Christ, my brain. It like mixed Japanese and English. Maybe people want to watch me nibble something. So enjoy me nibbling. This stuff is actually really good, by the way. Thanks, Jerry, for sending it from Japan. It is fantastic. All of this stuff from 7-Eleven is really good. Originally, I did a black back with a yellow base to sort of make the green pop a bit more. But I think the yellow was too yellow. It should have been a more whitish yellow, very pale yellow. So in a way, this wasn't a bad thing because it also gave the illusion of the green paint being a bit more worn and yellowed. So overall, this all works into me having the suit look like it's been through it while maintained. Now, just your usual, putting on those decals because you need them on. Mark Setter and Mark Softer. You know, you might want to do this with all your decals to really get them to set in, but be careful because if you do it wrong, then you screw up your paint. Lord knows I've done it 1,000 times. Born Mirror Paint, my personal favorite paint line. When it comes to chromes and mirrors, they make the best stuff. They really do. It's the most simple chrome paint I've ever used. The entire line works so fluidly. And I don't know if Galaxy Toys will carry the Born Paint 2 line. It might be worth contacting them to see, but really, I think it's like a really niche thing that only hyper weeb painters like myself know about, which is a shame. Doing a little bit of hand painting on the inner frame of the Jegan. This is overkill, complete overkill. It's absolutely unnecessary, especially when no one else will see all of this. But I thought it would be cool to sort of differentiate, obviously, the core of the suit, or the cockpit, I should say, rather than just leaving it be the standard mute gray. You know, I don't know why master grades, well, this is an older master grade, but I hope that Bandai evolves the master grade where the cockpit can be a completely separate piece and you can build it and have all these little extra details, but I highly doubt that's going to happen. You'd probably have a better shot of third-party manufacturers doing that before Bandai lifts a finger. It seems like they're really focused on real grades these days. By this point, I've skipped a few steps because ain't nobody got time for that. I'm reverse washing the details on the back of the tail piece of the Jegan because there's just so much there. It would be a shame to just leave it blank. You know what I'm saying? Even though, you know, it's just a Jegan and I'm painting it like it's a resin kit or a Gundam or something. But I kind of feel like the Master Grade Jegan is just one of those kits that is deserving of this level of detail because it's one of Bandai's best master grades to date still, and one of my favorite grunt suits. I tried to paint the thrusters like they're used in space because, what was it? The oxidization of Earth changes the colors of thrusters differently than thrusters that actually shoot off in space, you know, like NASA's ships and whatnot. But to be real with you, I kind of don't remember what those look like. So I winged it. And it's probably a little too, I took it too far, honest to God. It should have been thinner paint lines. But oh well, what are you going to do, you know? I thought about giving the Jegan an LED in the head, but usually the Jegan is always depicted as the entire visor being lit up, and I couldn't figure out how to light the visor completely without light bleed through the rest of the model kit head. So I figured I'll just turn on the cockpit light and call it a day. The legs, I probably overkilled this. It's too much detail for a part no one will ever see. See? Look at that. There's even parts that cover the parts I painted. I really went too far with this, but oh well. If I ever sell it or give it away, whoever gets it and decides to look to see how much I painted would probably be really happy with that. The completed piece. Looking pretty sick. You know, I think adding the LEDs to the cockpit really sets it off. So you can always just sort of pretend it's docked into like a bay and your cat is meowing. I decided to add some details. Weathering, you know. Realistic weathering, scratches, little nicks and dings, nothing too extreme. I guess would realistically happen off of multiple uses, and obviously flying through space, there's got to be like debris and stuff, right? Last I recall. Not 100% sure. So I didn't take it too far. As I said, I wanted it to be realistic, not crazy, noticeable, but not heavy. You get a quick glimpse of my weather pencils by 8K. 8K makes these. Model painters have been using watercolor pencils for years. These are designed specifically for modelers, so give them a check out. Just putting them back together, getting the vibe going. Really positive. I did mess up some of the decals on the missile pods. I don't know why. I thought there'd be two sets of decals for each side, but what are you going to do? You know, I probably should have done some custom decals on my own, but who cares? It doesn't really matter. It's just for my own enjoyment because this is one of my favorite Garn suits, and I'm happy that Bandai released it, even if it's 13 years late. Better late than never, I say. Overall, you get the vibe of this dude. He is just kicking all kinds of raw ass. I'm on this Jegan like stink on rice.